Hey, welcome back to the 29th year and beyond.
And beyond and beyond. You know, in a love relationship, in a marriage, um, particularly when you've been with someone as long as we've been together, there are opportunities where you get frustrated, you get angry. I know there have been times when I have been angry with you.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
And of course, there are opportunities when you've been angry with me.
Never.
But, you know, the reality is when you are in a love relationship, there will be those opportunities, those events, those moments when you do get angry with one another. And so, what do you think is the key to be able to resolve those issues and not stay in that place?
Well, first and foremost is definitely communication. Because if you're angry with someone, just walking around and holding it in and letting it stew is not going to solve the problem at all. So I think the best thing to do is definitely let the other person know how you're feeling as soon as possible. But with that said, I also think that sometimes you need to take a minute to step back and really think about what you're angry about.
I.e., the soon as possible.
Yes.
When she says soon as possible, that doesn't mean as soon as you're angry, you deal with it.
Right.
Because sometimes that's the best time. I mean, that's the worst time.
Yeah.
As soon as possible means when you can address the issue in a manner that is reasonable. You've had a disagreement, but you don't want to be disagreeable.
Right.
Or you may be furious about something, but again, you don't want to do or say something that you can't take back. Because no matter how remorseful you may feel afterwards, once you put it out there, it's out there. Right? And yes, you can agree to forgive one another about those kinds of things. But one of the things that I think is really, really key is in those moments when you're upset or angry with the person that you love, with your spouse, is to always go back to the motivation. If you are in a healthy love relationship, because at the end of the day, I know there is nothing that Gail would do intentionally or with malice to try to hurt me.
And that's true. That is true. And I think that in most situations, and this is sort of how I try to think about it. So say, for instance, you get angry with your boss at work. Well, you're not going to go in there and just bust in there and lay them out in most cases unless you want to lose your job. You're going to take a minute to sort of think about what you're angry about and what's the best approach to address the issue that's got you a little bothered or really bothered. Well, it's the same thing in a marriage, in a love relationship, whether you're married or not. You really should take that moment, that time to really assess what it is that actually has you upset, because a lot of time it's not what you think it is.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about the work situation, because if we can operate with that kind of restraint and self-control in a relationship that is not the most primary relationship, then all the more. But the thing for me is going back to 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. In it lets us know, God lets us know specifically what love is, what it isn't, what it does, and what it doesn't do. And for those of you who may not know, verses 4 through 7 really cover it, because it starts out by saying, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs.
Keeps no record of wrongs. That's one of my favorites.
Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres.
Always.
Love never fails. So when you think about that, if you know that this person is not going to do anything intentionally to harm you, it gets back to always persevering, always hoping, always trusting, always protecting. It gets back to, no, you're not going to keep record of wrongs, because that's not a loving act. So when you throw up stuff in your spouse's face, well, you remember when you did this, that's not a loving act. It's not easily angered. Notice it doesn't say that you can't get angry, but it's not easily angered. Everything shouldn't cause you to pop off like that.
No, it shouldn't. And nothing to me is more disrespectful and unattractive when a person just is constantly like about everything, and then every little thing just sort of tips them off. So take some time.
was going to say, what I would simply say is for those moments when you do get angry with your spouse, because they will happen.
Yes.
Don't lose sight of who you're engaging with.
Yeah.
If this person and you really share an authentic love, then you know the motivation, first and foremost, was not to hurt you, to harm you in any way. Start there. But then remember what love does and what it doesn't do. Until tomorrow, if the Lord says the same.
Bye.